Hey A&J family, it's Ashley, and today we have a busy morning. Annie's about to do her speech homework, and then we are going to be meal prepping. And a little bit of a backstory on our journey through meal prepping. When I first met Jason, I had no idea what meal prep was. Growing up, my mom did all the cooking, and if I was at my grandparents' house, we would go to a restaurant, or my grandma would cook. And yeah, I would help her out too, but they would cook every night. And through mine and Jason's relationship and growing from not knowing what meal prepping was to building my own recipes and making it our own, I realized that meal prepping saved time. I wasn't in the kitchen all the time. We meal prep 2 times a week, usually in the morning and the middle of the week. And that's that simple. We also make sure that they're very healthy meals with complex carbohydrates, good fats, lean meats, fruits and vegetables. As Jason and I were talking, I realized that meal prepping gives me more time to hang out with him or the kids instead of being in the kitchen cooking and cleaning up afterwards. So today I'm going to show you a few meals that I like to make. And if you want to, stay tuned. But first, let's do Annie's homework. Let's cook. So in front of me I have my copper chef skillet. I'm going to turn it on in a couple of minutes. The first thing that we're going to make is citrus orange chicken, and it's a recipe that I came up with. It's really simple to do and it'll save you time. So what I usually get is the chicken tenders from Sprouts, and for this recipe you're going to need the chicken tenders, 2 oranges, a lemon, some garlic salt, seasoned salt, and pepper. And for your skillet, you're gonna need some coconut oil or whatever oil you prefer. And it really doesn't matter which brand. So for the skillet, I turn it on all the way, as hot as it can get, and I spray my pan. Then I take some aluminum foil and I place it aside to put over top. Take my chicken tenders and I just plop them in. I take the stuff out. Then with a pair of tongs, I like to break them up. Then I cut open the oranges. And the lemon. And I just sprinkle it on top. It doesn't really matter which way. Just evenly put the juice. And with the oranges, I like to take my knife and cut the pulp out into the chicken. I find that cutting the pulp out actually gives it more flavor. doing this, but the end result, amazing. Then I take my tongs and I just evenly proportion the orange pulp. Then I add my seasoning. So I add regular black pepper, evenly proportion it to all of the chicken tenders, some seasoned salt, same with the pepper, and then I like to put some garlic salt too. And then, like I did with the orange pulp, just blend it in. And then you take your aluminum foil, or if you have a lid, don't burn it. And just place it on. And let it cook by itself. Check it every 5 minutes. Now that the chicken is cooking, I'm gonna wash my hands. While the chicken is cooking, then I go and I prep for my veggies in it. And today we're going to make some kale, baked kale. So what you need for this is, again, aluminum foil, a baking sheet, some olive oil, and some seasoned salt and garlic salt, and some kale. We usually get our kale from Sprouts. And then since the quarantine, we have been freezing the kale, and it's fresh when you bake it. So I like to take the kale out, and then I like to break it apart. If I was making it when it's fresh, not frozen, I would cut it up. But since it's easy to break up, I just break it up. Essentially, it's kind of like making kale chips. And just break it up evenly. Then you take the olive oil and you just drizzle it on. And for flavor, just sprinkle some seasoned salt and some garlic. And it's that simple. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat the oven for 400 and stick it in the oven for 15 minutes. And now that I'm waiting for the oven to heat up, I'm going to boil some water for some wheat pasta protein noodles. While we wait for the oven to heat up and the water to boil, let's check on the chicken. Take my tongue, and what I like to do is I just like to mix it around. Now in a little bit, right before it's done, we're going to let the juice evaporate and we're going to take this cover back off. But for now, we're going to put the cover back on and let it cook some more. Our water is almost done boiling, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my protein noodles. I don't like to keep it in the cardboard box, so we usually get the trail mix box from Walmart, and I like to put my noodles inside, an empty one of course. So I take my 1 cup, and what I do is I put 2 cups of noodles. I'm going to let this cook for 10 minutes. Now your goal is to let the juice evaporate. You don't want any of the juice still in the pan. While that is still cooking, I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to stir the noodles. They're about done. So while they're still cooking for the next minute, I'm gonna get my strainer ready. I'm gonna give the noodles one last turn and then I'm gonna turn it off. Now I'm gonna take my noodles and I'm gonna drain it. While your pan is still hot, put it back on your oven to cool down. I like to take the spatula, spoon, whatever you want to call it, and just evenly get the water out. You get a big Tupperware just like this. Give the noodles one little shimmy in the sink and then dump them in. Then I add some Parmesan cheese. Not a lot, just a little bit. I add olive oil. Again, not a lot, just a little. Some seasoned salt. Don't open the wrong way. Just a little bit. And some garlic. And I put a little bit extra garlic in it. Then I take my spoon spatula and I mix it all in. Get my lid, put it on top, and it's ready to go. Now that the noodles are done, I like to go back and look at the chicken. The reason why you want the juice to come out of it is it makes the chicken a little darker on the outside. Is basically the flavor of the juice. Now, let's spin our kale. So I take my spatula and I daringly just toss it around. Now that the chicken's done, I'm going to turn the skillet off. And what I like to do is I like to unplug it from the outlet and put it to the side to cool down. Then I give my chicken one last spin around. To let the chicken cool down, I leave the lid off and I just let it cool down. Now we just need to wait for the kale. I'm going to clean up a little bit. Now that it's just 1 minute, we're going to take out the kale and put it in its Tupperware. Then I take my A&J Famlee mittens. Love these things. My grandma got them for me for Christmas from QVC. And then I take it and then let it cool down. Don't forget to turn your oven off. Sometimes I like to give it a little toss up and make sure it's on one side of the pan. So now that it's cooled down, we're going to put it in its Tupperware. To make it easier, I take the aluminum foil, prop it down, and then place it down. And it's done. family. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to become part of the family. Have a family-filled day, and we'll talk to you in our next video. Bye!